I would bet money that out of 100 people that you come across, 100 of them have ran into some kind of car issue, and most of those issues could lead directly into a breakdown. Now, the interesting part about that is that considering that it's so common, why is it that there's barely any videos or information out there to show you how to handle those breakdowns? So sit back, because today I'm going to teach you exactly what you should do in order to be able to handle that situation best. What's going on, my beautiful people? My name is Mark Beneke, a proud member of the Westland family, and in today's video I'm going to help you understand some common car issues and how you can take care of them without having to break a sweat. Now, for those of you that are wondering, where the hell did Seb go? Well, let me just be clear with you. He's a fucking traitor. I'm totally kidding. He actually thinks that he's too ugly for the camera, so he asked us if he could just do all the back end stuff. But enough about all that. Let's get straight into it. First things first, let me just paint a picture for you. You just bought a car from that dealership down the road and you're driving it home, and all of a sudden you start hearing some weird noises coming from the front end. You take care of it, obviously, the way that most people do. Turn up the radio. You jam out to your favorite tune and just completely ignore the noises. Ooh, and you're really enjoying it, but all of a sudden it just starts getting louder and louder, so you crank up the volume a little bit more. Now all of a sudden you start looking around and you realize people are looking at you. I mean, you know your car's a head turner, but it's still kind of making you a little bit nervous. You keep driving. You're gonna ignore it. It's okay. Let's just get home. But all of a sudden, ding, 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 check engine comes on. Okay, no problem. It's just the check engine. You can get to it when you get to the house. Boom! All of a sudden, car shuts off. This is what's called a breakdown. So what do you do at this point? You gotta panic. Panic as much as you possibly can. Like, start screaming at the people on the side of the road, call up anybody that you can, scream at them over the phone. I'm totally kidding. Please do not do this. Just try to stay as calm as you possibly can, because we're gonna get through this. And here's the thing, when people see a check engine, they just automatically assume that it's all the same problem. But one check engine could be totally different from another. It just depends on the code and what's going wrong with the vehicle. So in this specific situation, we gotta just try to figure out what could be possibly going wrong. One of them could be that you just popped a tire. Typically, that's not gonna cause a check engine to come on though. But when a tire's flat, or if it completely just burst, you're gonna start swerving. So the first thing that you should do is just try to slow down a little bit, let go of the gas, and then just go over to the shoulder. Turn on your hazard lights, and it's game time. Because honestly, this is one of the issues that really doesn't require too much assistance. There's a reason that most vehicles have a spare tire, a jack, and a wrench in the trunk, so that you can handle it all by yourself. Now, if you've never done it before, I can tell you it can seem a little bit daunting, but it is quite easy once you get the hang of it. I've done it a million times in the brutal cold and the midsummer here in Fresno. Just takes a little bit of time, that's all. All you gotta remember is when you're removing the lug nuts, go to opposing sides. So if you do the top one, then go to the bottom one after. And then from there, go to the left, and then the one opposing to it. Makes it a little bit easier. That's my personal tip of the day. Boom! Seriously, changing a tire really just comes down to jacking it up first, removing the lug nuts, removing the tire, putting the new tire back on, and then putting the lug nuts back on, and then dropping it down. That's it. We'll end up making another video showing you just how to do that. Now, if your breakdown is due to overheating, that's a little bit of a different story, because it's definitely a more serious issue. So the first thing that you gotta do is just crank up the AC as much as you possibly can, because obviously if it's getting hot, you gotta cool it down, right? Fuck, no, please don't do this. Please do not do this. That was a joke. If the car is overheating, typically there's something going on within the cooling system. It could be something as small as a thermostat. It could also be a much bigger problem, like a water pump. However, this definitely does not mean that this is the end-all be-all for your vehicle. I can tell you, 99 out of 100 times, if you catch your vehicle overheating in time, no damage is going to be done to it. The problem ends up being if you continue driving the car as it's overheating. What you need to do does not matter if you're 2 minutes away from your house or 50 miles away from your house, you need to pull over immediately. If you're near a place that offers parking, great. It's a lot better. You can just pull in and shut the car off. What you want to do is make sure that you allow the engine to cool down as much as possible. Sometimes it could be in 5 minutes that it ends up cooling down. Other times it could be half an hour. You want to make sure that you allow it to cool down just enough so that you can check the reservoir and then see if maybe the issue could be getting caused by just a lack of water. or coolant. If you notice that there's not much coolant in there, then you can just top it off. Majority of the time, this will take care of it. But sometimes there could be another underlying issue. So if there is enough water in there, what you can try to do, and just make sure that you keep your eye on it, is get back into the vehicle once it's cooled down, drive for just a little bit, keeping your eye on the temperature gauge. If it doesn't keep creeping up, you're good. Keep driving. That probably took care of the issue. But if it does, pull over again immediately and call up a tow company. Let them know where your vehicle's at, and they'll come and pick it up and just take it over to the local mechanics. From there, obviously the mechanic is just going to inspect the vehicle, let you know what the issue could end up being, and then you have the choice of whether you want to fix it up or tell them, fuck it, keep it. If you have an older car, you seriously should consider whether you really want to be fixing it up or not. But if your car is fairly new, a lot of the time, all of these issues could be repaired and you're not going to have any problems again for another few months or years, whatever. Overheating will be one of those issues that may require a little bit of assistance if it turns out to be something a little bit more complicated than just topping off the coolant. So my suggestion, make sure that you have roadside assistance with your insurance company so that they can just come and help you out of a bind, because you really don't know when you're going to need it. Woo! Tip number 2 for the day, baby. Now lastly, I'm going to run you through every single step of a full breakdown and exactly what you need to do in that type of situation. Alright, so first thing, you've realized that the car has fully broken down. Nothing seems to be working. What do you do first? Well, first, pump the brakes, slow yourself down a little bit, put the hazards on, pull over to the side, park. Do not turn off the hazards until help arrives. If you're on the freeway and you are in the fast lane, it might be a little bit hard to go over to the right-hand side, so just pull over to the shoulder on the inside. However, if you're in the middle or the right-hand side, the right-hand shoulder is always going to be your best option. At the end of the day though, just get the fuck away from traffic as much as you can. Once you've gone ahead and gotten away from traffic, there's one crucial thing that you need to do. Make sure you turn your wheel away from traffic. It'll just make it a little bit safer in case your car starts to roll for whatever reason. Now, if you don't drive stick shift, you probably never use this, but there's this little lever down here. Sometimes it can actually be down there. Just pull it. It's your emergency brake. Keep it on. Now let's go ahead and try to figure out exactly what's happening with the car. When you turn the key, if nothing comes on, no lights or anything, probably means that the battery is dead. Could have something to do with your alternator, could have something to do with the battery, the electrical system, we don't know. Now if you don't have a portable jumper in your car, first off, make sure you go and pick one up right now. But again, if you don't have one, then the first thing that you're gonna do is just call up your insurance company and ask them to come and tow it. If you do have one though, you're gonna go ahead and get it, pop the hood, and then get out of the car and try to jump your car. From here, if nothing happens, then call up your insurance company. If your car is smoking really bad, typically means you overheated it to the point where you probably caused some damage. So, only real option here, call up your insurance company, have them tow it. If it's a tire, remember, just follow the process as before. If it's an overheating issue, just go ahead and go out, check the coolant once it's actually cooled down enough. If it's a loss of power or anything that's causing your car to not be able to move, your real only option is to call up your insurance and have them tow the vehicle. Let's just say 8 out of 10 times, it's gonna be calling your insurance company and having them tow the vehicle. But there are a few moments where really all you have to do is just relax, figure out what the problem is, and then take care of it on the spot. There are some issues that can be taken care of really quickly, but freaking out is not going to help whatsoever, and it's just going to end up complicating things for you and making the whole process a lot longer. So just call someone to help you out if you really don't know how to handle it. Remember, it's a machine with a ton of moving parts. Sometimes it's better just to leave it to the professionals to take care of it. So the 4 biggest takeaways: get roadside assistance from your insurance company, stay calm if something happens, do not keep driving your vehicle, and don't be afraid to call for help. It's extremely common for people to freak out when something new comes their way, and also to try to just handle everything on their own. They get very impatient, and a lot of the time, those reasons are the reasons why some major accidents end up happening. That's not what you want, and that's not what we want. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of the steps that you should take in order to be able to handle a breakdown. And in the meantime, check out this video down here that's being suggested to you to learn a little bit more about, well, whatever they're suggesting to you. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!